Hello, good morning, and welcome to Political Platform on Repa FM. My name is Amechi Anakwe. It's a Friday, and of course, many will say, thank goodness it's Friday. As you prepare for the long weekend, let's spice it up for you the remaining part of the weekday with juicy stories coming from the political turf. Of course, you know Nigeria's political terrain for now is very much charged. From Abuja to Nairobi, Kenya, that is where the two main parties to, of course, the letter that was written from what many have come to regard as a godfather to a godson. Talking about President Goodluck Jonathan and former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Both were in Nairobi, Kenya yesterday as part of the 50th anniversary of the independence of Kenya. To the surprise of many, OBJ, as is popularly called, met with Jonathan over breakfast. What did they discuss? Well, I don't know. They didn't tell anybody. It was indeed a meeting behind closed doors. But back home, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is asking other leaders to intervene to reduce tensions that letter has generated. Just as Mustafa, the man whose name was insinuated in that letter, of course, if you have read that letter, Obasanjo had insinuated that Mustafa was released from prison based on the machinations of President Goodluck Jonathan to help to, of course, further his interests. But Mustafa is saying his hands are clean, that Jonathan did not play any role in his acquittal by the cause, and challenged Obasanjo to come up with evidence, strong evidence that will prove his allegations. And the PDP is asking a federal high court in Abuja to sack the 5 governors that belonged to it before but are now with the APC. They said they have violated the laws of the land, and the houses of assembly of these 5 states, the 5 governors, should immediately commence impeachment proceedings against these 5 governors for leaving the PDP, jumping from the PDP to the APC. And in Port Harcourt, it was another show yesterday. Lawmakers, about 22 of them loyal to Rotimi Amechi, the governor, tried to reconvene at the State House of Assembly after a court judgment ordered that indeed the takeover of the responsibilities and functions of the Rivers State House of Assembly by the National Assembly is illegal. But they met stiff opposition from the police. They tried to sit at the gate of the House of Assembly complex, but tear gas canisters that were fired sent them running into safety. I'm not alone on this program. As usual, we have Hedu and Eago with us. Welcome to the program, Hedu.
Thank you very much. Good morning, listener.
We also have Mustafa Mohamed, who's just back from Yamoussoukro and Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire.
Amechi, bonjour. Good morning, Nigeria.
Going to French now. I know beyond bonjour.
I hope you go beyond bonjour.
Beyond bonjour, you may not have anything more to offer, but to do maybe she's better skilled in the issues of French language. Welcome to the program.
Comment ça va, Amechi?
Ça va bien.
At least you remember that one. But
yes.
You see, Amechi, something worries me about the Rivers State Assembly and the Rivers State government generally. Now we have 2014. I've been asking myself, the National Assembly that even took over before the court pronouncement, that's just coming in. What is on ground? The man is running a one-man show, and who will the governor present next year's budget to? Is the state at the standstill right now?
No, there's no lacuna. Section 11, subsection 4 of the Constitution is very, very clear. Yes. The only thing when the National Assembly takes over the responsibility of a state assembly, the only thing it cannot do is to impeach the governor. Any other thing that the state assembly can do, that it can do. But we'll go into that.
Has the National Assembly been doing that?
Yes, we go into that vis-a-vis the provisions and the powers of the court.
Tell you that today is Friday. Of course, the FCT special is coming today. The Millennium Project, the Millennium Towers and Cultural Center, a building touted to be one of the tallest in the African continent, and of course to help to strengthen the unity of Nigeria. We'll talk about it. Our usual guest, Nosiko Buenye, will be around. And of course, beyond that, we shall also be taking you to Enugu State. Of course, you recall what happened to Clara Chime, the wife of Governor of Enugu State, Sullivan Chime. There were a lot of issues and allegations that Clara was being unduly detained by the governor in the government house. The National Human Rights Commission intervened, and a lot of things really happened. But we have a guest in the studio from Huriwa Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Emmanuel Ongbiko, who's demanding that the governor be impeached if he does not indeed offer public apology on the ill treatment meted out to his wife. But of course, before we go into all this, we'll give you an opportunity to be part of this program. You can reach us through our email address, politicalplatform@yahoo.com. Let's share your ideas and comments on topical national issues.
A beautiful morning to you, and good to know you are there. I am Chinemerem Ugu.
I am Okuchi Njoko. Good morning.
Right, we will be starting with this one from Tekena Dagogo. He writes us from Rivers State, and he titles this one, Bitter or Sweet, Medicine is Medicine. He says, Obasanjo's letter to President Jonathan should be seen as a chloroquine. It is bitter, but it cures malaria. His allegations should not be thrown away completely because President Jonathan, too, must examine himself and ask himself if he indeed needs this medicine. God bless Nigeria.
Quit politics and be a true statesman, says Ikechukwu Ani from Abuja. He goes further to say, Obasanjo must be made to know that being a former president does not qualify one as a true statesman. After writing an 18-page letter to Jonathan through Nigerian media, he should do better by writing an 18-page letter outlining the solutions to numerous problems of Nigeria as caused by Jonathan himself and other past leaders.
And still on the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, Ikechukwu writes us from Aba in Abia State, and he titles this one, Obasanjo's Endless Quest for Relevance. He goes on to say, I regret to remember that since the end of his tenure, Obasanjo has always pretended to be a patriot when he is in a position of no influence. He should learn from the late Mandela, who left office and stood aside to provide the much-needed advice to his successors.
Beyond Mandela's eulogy, that's the title of Wale Suleiman's mail, and he's writing us from Lagos State. He says, as we eulogize the great Mandela so high, what was his direct contributions to Nigerian economic, educational, or youth development, which MKO did very much? Mandela got all the praises for liberating South Africa, and MKO Abiola died fighting for the enthronement of our democracy. But it's unfortunate that those who cried the loudest and claimed to be his people were the ones that stood against his deserved immortalization.
And moving over to Port Harcourt and Rivers State, Handsome Kini Kanwo writes us on Rivers State Police Command impunity. He says, on Tuesday, 10th December 2013, Nigerian police force shot live bullets and tear gas at PDP members decamping to APC at Isiokbo, the headquarters of Ikwere local government area, where the governor comes from. The former PDP ward chairman of Ubima, the governor's ward, was shot and another member was shot on the head, among other casualties. Just yesterday, 12th December 2013, the police also shot live bullets and tear gas at 25 Rivers State House of Assembly members loyal to the governor, which met within the assembly premises after they were barred from gaining entrance into the assembly complex. The police have continued to harass Rivers people loyal to the governor. I will suggest to them and those beating this ugly tone to realize that no amount of intimidation will stop those who believe in the governor. They should stop harming unarmed civilians exercising their rights.
On PDP's moves to sack defected governors, Obi Tochukwu in Abuja has this to say. The moves by PDP through the courts to sack its governors who defected to APC is a waste of time. Many other governors and lawmakers in the past defected to PDP, and their seats were not declared vacant. PDP should rather put its house in order if it will remain relevant in 2015. May God help us.
And lastly for today is from Kehinde Ariyo, who writes us from Lagos State, and he writes us on the end of Boko Haram. He says, the deadly Boko Haram group may soon be phased out if they decide to take their campaign to the USA. The group has vowed to attack the United States, and this may just be the end of this deadly group, whose mission is to Islamize Nigeria and make Western education a curse. I want to appeal to the United States government not to hurt other innocent Nigerians if they decide to repay Boko Haram in their own coin. God bless Nigeria.
All right, that's where we draw the curtain on this segment. Please do keep your mails coming. Political platform at yahoo.com is still the route to reach us.
Thank you very much. We have heard from you. Thanks for contributing. But of course, I will urge you to keep the mails coming, more comments, and of course.
I'm actually the issues all over. The Obasanjo purported letter by former President Obasanjo. I actually came in last night and I took an interest to read through the letter. I read almost half before napping away. The issues being mentioned in the letter are some of the things I actually want to say a thing or two. You know, former governor of, not former, forgive me, current governor of Niger State, Mu'adhu Babangida Aliyu, had been swearing over the tomb of his grandparents and great-grandparents, telling everybody that the president agreed with them for just one term. The former president Olusegun Obasanjo refused to join the debate over the matter to clarify whether there was such agreement or not. And then now he's coming with a long letter making this as one of
that is qualified to be called a textbook.
Anyhow you want to mention it, to join the debate. If former President Olusegun and others who were said to have been privy to the discussion and agreement that time came out to support the stand of the governor of Niger State, it's a PDP affair. They said it's a family affair. They would have reached somewhere on the issue of whether the president is going to contest for a second term or not. I don't think that issue of contest should be a national affair. It should be allowed within the PDP realm to be solved. Of course, yes, I agree. There are a lot of issues of economy, ethnicity, tribalism, regionalism, national security that have been raised. But I also believe that some of these things don't need to come out in the newspapers. As leaders of this country, they need to sit down and talk it over. The kind of ugly debate this issue has generated is pointing at a negative move, which actually Nigeria is not supposed to be facing, as we are also committed.
Or maybe the language could have been better, but the two leaders, after the tension, maybe they are meeting in Nairobi, Kenya, at the Intercontinental Hotels, may be the beginning of the process of dousing these tensions that this letter has generated. Nobody expected that meeting. The media reports have it that even the aides of the president were surprised that OBJ would easily walk into the hotel and request for a meeting with the president. They have had breakfast together, and we hope that that line of communication will be maintained. Initially, this is the normal communication that such issues could have been raised, but now that it's been taken to the public domain, then we hope that strong moves will be made to, of course, retract whatever damage it may have caused to the interests of the nation.
Amechi, after they have finished talking amongst themselves, after they have agreed by God's grace, let's hope that the ripple effects of this letter, of the dirty things that have been thrown to the public, will be able to be mopped up.
Amechi, I'm actually surprised that anybody will be excited that Obasanjo and Jonathan met in Kenya. If you recall the meeting between Obasanjo and Leto Kadibo, if you also recall the meeting between Audogbe and Obasanjo, you will understand that it's just like the relationship between a man and his fowl during the Christmas season. The fowl that you usually first of all deal with during the Christmas season.
You feed very well.
You feed very well water, so that it is for the purpose of satisfying your own. So, but beyond that, we must begin to look at the issues and the latitude allowed by democracy. Everybody will say we have democratic rights. It's just like a pregnant woman who goes to the hospital. And of course, doctors will always tell them, please make sure you engage in one exercise or the other. But a doctor cannot be so crazy to tell a pregnant woman to engage in the exercise of long jump or high jump. Because when you do so, you are asking the woman to abort the unborn baby.
That's true.
What the president has done must be seen not within the context of two persons who are fighting themselves, or the context of a person who want to say, I don't like Jonathan or I don't hate him. We must look at these things beyond the Jonathan. We have all celebrated the return of democracy since the last 15 years or thereabout now, or 14 years plus. And we said it is a good thing that the military has gone back to the barracks. Obasanjo, in his letter, alluded to the fact that there is an attempt to make our military have some ethnic coloration. And when you do that, you are to a very large extent trying to also instigate some men in the military. And if you look at the position of a former president, there are certain things that messages that are meant for kings and messages that are meant for messengers. Amechi, you recall when the PDP candidate in Edo State, Charles Ariawere, went to the Oba's Palace in Benin to seek his support in the ahead of the 2012 election in Edo State. The man did not tell him not to contest. He said, well, it is a good thing you have come, but that the music that is coming from the Oshomoles camp is such that I am not ready to, at the moment, to leave the dance floor. What that means is that he realized that he is a king that is well reverent, and to that extent, he didn't discourage him, but he was able to use a
wisdom to tell him when his support lies.
To pass the message across. Obasanjo did not bring any wisdom in this message. That
I think it was actually seeking attention.
The issue of military alleged lopsided recruitment in the army, in which parts of Nigeria have been favored so much. I'm not saying that most of the allegations raised by Obasanjo are things that you can just wave away or wish away. Some of the things he has read really have semblance of truth. But what we are saying is that those things don't need to come out to the public.
Well, the allegations are here with us now. There are reports that indeed the presidency may not want to respond to these issues, that there are advice that he should rather seek a reconciliatory move instead of trying to respond point by point to these allegations. And these are speculations in the media, though, but of course, what we have from the presidency is that, yes, the response will come at the adequate time. At the appropriate time. At the appropriate time, but I'm just advising that the appropriate time is now, so that these questions will be put to rest forever. Glad to know you're still with us. Political platform on Repa FM. Now we have our usual guest on Fridays, Masiko Buenyi from the FCT spokesperson of the FCT minister. Welcome to the program, Masiko.
Thank you very much, the good people of FCT, and also thank you, Repa, for this
And how is the Millennium Tower? What's the idea behind the conceptualization and, of course, the construction of this Millennium Tower? Just quickly tell us.
Thank you very much. The idea is to further flaunt, cement our unity, and there's those beauties of Nigeria. You know that our beauty lies in our complexity. Nigeria is there's a conglomeration of different cultures, different rich cultures and languages and so on and so forth. So that is the basis of our strength, and then we have to flaunt the positive aspect of it.
How will the project flaunt these attributes?
First of all, that it has places where Nigeria will gather, to make sure that we show the sense of our unity, our oneness, and so on. So in a secure place, in a place that has the ambience of, that's our national essence. So that is the thing. And mind you, the location itself is within the center of the city, where we have all the iconic structures, National Mosque, Nigerian Christian Center, CBN Secretariat, other things, of course, Ministry of Finance behind there, and so on and so forth. So it's built in such a way that when you go there, whenever we have our national events and so on, you'll be proud to be a Nigerian. It's high time we begin to, show some of these things. What
will it offer in terms of space and accommodation?
Yes,
what will
it will really offer a lot because, first of all, it has a seating capacity. There's that place that is in National Square now, because if you talk about the National Cultural Center and Millennium Tower, it has so many components. National Square is one of the components. That place is going to effectively take over from Eagle Square. Eagle Square, as you can see, it does not have, there's enough, there's protection in terms of fencing and all those things. And then it is sitting right there. Each time you are having any event, that means that you're almost grounding the Federal Secretariat. So it's not supposed to be like that. So this place is going to have a very well secure place. It has, a parking, facility, 2 levels, that is in the basement, that will accommodate more than 1,200 vehicles at a time. And these things will not be shown. Then, on top is the National Square, is made up of about 40,000 square meters. That's it will contain about, assuming you are to build houses, about 40 standard buildings. So 40,000 square meters, and then the seating capacity there, it will accommodate about 50,000
How many
people.
stories is this building?
Yes, there are so many components. The hotel there, which is a 5-star hotel, is going to be about 50 meters high. So then you have the Millennium Tower itself, the tower itself, that's 170 meters. tall. Of course, you're going to be the tallest structure. And then on top of it, you're going to have a revolving restaurant.
But the man living in the satellite town may say, yes, a wonderful conception, wonderful project, but how will it impact on this set of people? Is it just for the rich, for the high and mighty, for those in government?
It's for everybody. No, it's not meant for anybody to go there and move his family there. All of us can go there, anybody can go there and then be happy as a Nigerian. So we must not, that's because we have satellite town does not mean that we should just, level Abuja city. So it's for all of us. Somebody can come all the way from Nyanya, go there with your family, be happy. Like during 1st October celebration, Democracy Day celebration, all those things. Those are the things that make us to be proud as Nigerians. You can see all the tension in the land. We need to begin to celebrate some of those things that unite us, those things that show the beauty of Nigeria. The Akwa Ibom people, the Hausas, the Igbos, the Yorubas, all of them, Tifs, Idoma, everybody come. Then you see the real color of Nigeria. You see the fragrance of Nigeria. That's what we're talking about.
Now that this building is going to be very, very tall, Nigerians will also ask if the transparency that will surround its construction will be such that will not attract a letter from possibly an aerophile, just like what Obasanjo has done.
No, it's not like that. Everything is being done very well. Of course, I don't want to mention the name of the consultant, so it not appears if I'm advertising. But then everything is being done very well. And then, as I'm talking to you, everything about the whole concept, about the planning and so on, design, that the actual construction, everything is going on very well.
But I must tell you that partnership with the private sector, or is it solely a government project?
So far, up to this level, it has been solely government project. But then, the amount required to complete it is what it is snagged now, which government may, based on approval, because they're approving authorities. You have the legislature, you have the executive. If they approve, why not? It may be turned into a portfolio project to enable it to be completed.
And of course, I know this project has been on for a long time. Why is it drawing so long? Is it a problem?
The concept might have been long, but then the actual, that's really serious work. That's really started about 5 years ago. Serious work. The concept, that was not the original location. It was supposed to be at the Millennium Park area, very close to the Villa. And very close to Nikon. That's just in between. So
maybe
because of some
they wouldn't want Nigerians who have the opportunity to climb to the tower to be into the presidential.
It would have interfered with the concept of the Millennium Garden, that place, because that place is supposed to be a greenery, which it already is. By the time you go and reduce it to a concrete place, then you have destroyed that natural habitat. So that's the thing that happened. So we are now having both. The Millennium Garden is still there. Now we're having the Millennium Tower. So these are the things that will make Abuja to be complete as the center of Nigerian unity.
The hope is that it will be completed in good time. And of course, if you need the private sector funding, I thought maybe we needed private sector funding in the first place. But if you bring them up now, no problem, just a quick completion.
Nasike, you said it's for everybody. Yes. Is it free? And is the entry free, or would the common Nigerian have to pay?
Certainly, it can be free. It cannot be free because when it is completed, nothing is, there's no such thing as all total free lunch. In this,
not even in Freetown.
Yes, it's going to be very affordable.
Thank you very much, Masiko Bwenyi. Let's quickly cross over to Enugu State, but we'll discuss Enugu State from here. You may be involved here. Is the issue involving a woman, a wife to the governor of Enugu State,
the incarcerated wife.
Yes, not too long we heard that he was being held, confined in the government house in Enugu against her wishes. It became public when she wrote a letter to Femi Falana, and Falana tried to come to her aid. But of course, we also know that the National Human Rights Commission intervened. The final analysis is that she was allowed to leave the government house to, of course, go to some other place.
She was bundled out. She was allegedly bundled out. She wasn't allowed to leave.
They had to rescue her.
That's Emmanuel Onwubiko. He is of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria. You feel that the way and manner she left that government house is not the proper way it should have happened.
Of course. You said Enugu State. But this thing that happened in Enugu has a symbolism, a national symbolism. It's something that happens across all marriages. No marriage is perfect. But when, for instance, Mr. Onwubiko becomes the governor of a particular state, whatever happens in my home becomes a public issue. And the way you maltreat your wife, if you don't control yourself, you don't checkmate what you do, using the forces, using the services of the armed security operatives that are paid by each and every one of us to carry out your self-serving agenda.
But what
That's
the governor said
coming.
was that the wife had some health challenges,
And the government has become a hospital.
The doctors advised that she be allowed to return to the government house so that maybe recuperation will be faster.
Why was the governor himself not kept in the government house when he had this issue of cancer that he went to London? He thought it wise for himself
to seek
be
help
treated
outside.
in London.
Is a specialized,
But who made him a medical doctor for him to determine that his wife had a medical issue?
There's also one question I want to ask, because in Africa, I recall when the governor got married to that young lady, Clara, there was pop and pageantry. It was well celebrated. Is it possible that the man asking her to remain in the house is a further expression of the so much love he has for her?
Well, these are all issues that some of us in the civil society community are taxing the National Human Rights Commission not to introduce politics into this very serious issue of
human rights abuse against the Human Rights Commission is not doing enough.
They've been too diplomatic. They've been too diplomatic and too slow.
If I may come in here from a woman's angle, I think that, well, maybe they may be treading with caution. We know how powerful the powers that be in this country are, and then up against an innocent young girl who went into marriage with a man who is even much older than she is.
Yes.
We can understand what the situation is, but I think that no matter what, the governor had absolutely no right to lock her up in that in that place, even if she was mentally deranged. Is he a psychiatrist?
And she's not.
Was she in that state when she got married?
Exactly. Who pushed her to that point?
Said, that it was because of medical advice, and there was the time they addressed a joint press conference, and it appears that Clara, of course,
there was no press conference, my brother. There was no press conference.
There was
if
a time when
how the media
addressed a press conference.
My brother, all of us are in the media. All of us are in the media.
Clara was there, and we were told that she just nodded her head and in agreement with the governor when he said that it was a consensus that she should remain in the government house to recuperate. But beyond that, you are asking the National Human Rights Commission to make public the outcome of the investigation, and possibly for the governor to resign, to apologize, or if it does not apologize, the House of Assembly should impeach him. These were part of the demands you made.
Exactly. These are some of the demands we're making. But we're also conscious of the fact that the House of Assembly in Enugu State is the rubber stamp House of Assembly. So if they want to redeem their battered image, they should at least ask the man to apologize to the woman. And apart from Clara's issue, the women of Enugu have been seriously marginalized. They had a fixed kind of local government election that was not credible not too long ago. No woman was competent enough to be selected and fixed as a chairman of a local government.
Yesterday in your press conference, you also said that Enugu State has not passed the Child Rights Act.
Exactly. So the state appears to be a state under this current dispensation, a state that is not friendly to women and to children. If it is a place like the core conservative northern states, we can begin to say, well, maybe it's the customs. But for an Igbo central state,
you said the Enugu State House of Assembly may be a rubber stamp, but yes, the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja, a federal institution, may not be a rubber stamp.
It cannot.
What specific actions do you want them to take?
The action we want the National Human Rights Commission to take is to organize a transparent public hearing. If the people that are going to come forward to give their testimonies are afraid of being blackmailed or even attacked in Enugu, because it happens in the political setting in the East, they can be taken in camera, like as is done in most other cases that relates to like Boko Haram cases and the rest. If witnesses that appear and they're afraid.
I think we'll have to leave it here. National Coordinator, Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Comrade Emmanuel Onwubiko. Maybe the Human Rights Commission may want to respond to your demands, or of course to update Nigerians on what they have done so far. I know they have been doing it in the past, but of course what Onwubiko is saying is that they should do it more frequently. Thanks for joining us. The much you can take, or you want to pass a quick point here, you're frowning your face.
I'm frowning. I think that, they say if you love something, you release the thing. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it is not yours, it will go away. The man
that one is in Spain. It's a Spanish saying.
The man who locked the woman up and the woman, I think that both of them need proper examination. And if anything to the contrary is found, that man owes the women of this country an apology because he traumatized me. He traumatized a lot of us.
Then on Rivers, we must apologize to our listener that we don't have enough time. But we do hope that when we return on Monday, we will give you the constitutional provisions as it is in Section 11, subsection 4 of the Constitution, vis-a-vis the provisions of Section 4, subsection 8 of the Constitution that also makes the National Assembly not to have the power to determine how the court goes about it. And we'll give you all the details as to how the National Assembly arrived at that decision and what happened in Rivers State yesterday.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today, but please join us again on Monday for another wonderful package. Have a most wonderful weekend.